Yo, 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 what's up, family? Once again, we are back for the Merv and Stack show featuring Tina B, featuring Mark and Tina B. Out tonight. Tonight we're gonna do something a little bit. You got a phone call coming in, man? Tonight we're gonna do something a little bit different. We're gonna discuss the much talked about movie American Skin. Starring the main star in the movie is Nate Parker. You've seen him in movies such as Red Tails, and you've seen him in Birth of a Nation as well. A couple of them. Well, you got one real notable that Sean would kill me if I didn't mention. You got Amari Hardwick. He's starring as Nate Parker starred as Laken Jefferson, and Amari Hardwick is his homeboy. You know, his name Omar Scott in the movie. We know that as Ghost. You know, we got to mention that. But before we fully deep dive into this movie, how you doing tonight, Merv? You looking around, man? You ain't even centered. You good?
Mm, I'm saying that must be where the camera is showing, the program is showing, because I'm in the same place I'm always in. But yeah, I'm good. Drinking on some gin.
You and that damn chin. I mean, you going through some stuff, man? I mean, what's going on? Talk to your boy.
Nah, just I go through a phase when I drank the same thing for a little bit, and right now, before this, it was what the fuck it was before this? I can't remember, but I'm on the gin shit now.
Okay. Tina B, what's good, lady? What's happening?
Hey y'all, it's been a long day. Outside is a mess. It's tow trucks everywhere. Not yeah, tow trucks, yeah, because they towing people who stayed parked on the street for the snowstorm. People been digging their cars out because they definitely got shoveled in with the salt trucks and stuff. They definitely buried a lot of vehicles, so that's what it is over here in Jersey.
Is it still storm?
Lightly, but yes.
Y'all pretty much at the tail end of it, huh?
I mean, people was out here mostly SUVs. So, but some places like far up in Jersey got like 30 something inches.
Damn.
Where I'm at, we got 2 feet.
Wow. You just send Merv up there. Merv hate the cold. Send Merv up there playing the snow.
Yeah, I don't
Get
fucking
their
know
music. All right, real quick. A lot of this movie, unfortunately, a lot of this movie we've seen so much. We've seen too much before. Because I think that and I'm not gonna hold no punches tonight. If you got this episode is gonna be very racy. We're gonna talk a lot about race relations in this country. You may get angry. You may have that black rage that they talk about. We're gonna get into that as well. But most of the story that we've seen, most of this movie, uh, in my opinion, we've seen all too often in America. I call the shooting of unarmed black people a part of American culture. Let's just call it what it is. It's been happening so much, and it usually ends with the same result. Uh, so that being said, what I would like to get into is let's talk about at the beginning of the movie. We see the standard police stop. You know, it's late night. Lincoln Jefferson and his son KJ, aka Kajani Jefferson, they're in a prestigious white neighborhood. They're on the way back home. Actually, Lincoln was picking up KJ from a friend's house. They get stopped by the police, and they pretty much fit the description. They're in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it goes left. You cut scene, and then we get introduced to It's a dude named Jordan, the reporter. Yeah, his name is Jordan. He meets up with Lincoln about a year later, and he wants to do a documentary on his experiences as far as seeking justice for his son. And he's asking him about his son, and we find out during the course of the story that Lincoln is actually a retired, well, not retired, but he was in the military, served time overseas, and he ended up taking a job as a janitor just to get his son into a different school. Before we deep dive into it, I want to talk about the talk. And I think I call the talk is that talk that you know black fathers and black mothers, I'm not going to leave y'all out, have to have with their kids, with their young boys in particular. And Merv, you ever had anybody in your family that you've had to have that talk with, real briefly? And if you have, well, and not even if it got to be your family, just somebody that you care about, a young man, tell them about how to conduct themselves with law enforcement.
Not on the level that was in the movie. I got some nephews and that be out there. So I talked to them kind of like briefly on how to handle the situation with the cops and shit, but I'm not on that level that was done in the movie. I'm pretty sure it's probably different because I was father son, as opposed to like uncle nephew, but not on that level with a family member. I haven't had that kind of talk. Hey, can you put Tina in the middle?
You felt some kind of way?
Yeah.
So Tina, you ever had a situation where young family member or young lady, could be a young lady too, because we got Sandra Bland situation. Like, do you ever had to talk to anybody about how to deal with law enforcement?
All the time, especially when I worked as a counselor for youth consultation services, which were behavioral youth in the group home. Yeah, so all the time. That was a constant thing.
All right. Well, I remember when I had the talk with my two boys. It was during the when they killed Mike, when the cops killed Mike Brown. I was stationed. I was still in the military. I was stationed in Kansas City, and both my boys were with me for the summer. I literally sat them down, even though they were relatively. I wouldn't say they were young. I think my 21-year-old, that was 2014. What year was Mike Brown? 2014. At any rate, I think I had a kid in high school. One of my sons was in high school. One of my kids was in middle school. So I sat them down and we literally watched in its entirety. And then I had to give them that set of instructions that we have to give our sons when dealing with law enforcement. And the thing is, a lot of people might not agree with it, those that don't sympathize, those that don't empathize with our plight. Because I got into an argument with somebody and they told me that, well, I got to teach my sons the same thing. I said, that's just funny to me because you don't. 12 and 2, don't make any before you make any type of movements, make sure you tell the officer before you about to make the movement. So anyway, I'm not gonna go far in depth in detail with the talk, I wanna kind of fast forward because I honestly think that we've all seen how these things work out, and it goes in the movie. They go to the courthouse. You got one side that's saying justice for Kajani, other side saying back to Blue. And as usual, the cop is let off and he goes back to work. Now, uh, one of they had a phrase on the movie cover I was watching called "changing the narrative," and part of changing that narrative was and he had an assist from his camera crew, I guess the documentary crew, Jordan and Jordan's homegirl, uh, when they went to kidnap the police chief, and that's when we all saw the shit got real. So when he kidnapped the police chief, they then realized Jordan and his assistant, I think her name was Tanya or something like that. But she tried to call 911. And Amari Hallway, they got like some Amari Hallway, he was in Marines, like his homeboy, Jefferson. And they came up with the heavy artillery. They had assault rifles and all that stuff because they was trying to change the narrative. Whereas, it's hard for our people to even get the trial, because the cop didn't get indicted, of course, but it's very hard for us to even get the trial. So changing the narrative to me was them putting the police and putting the system on trial. What did you think at the point where the police chief got kidnapped, Tina B?
I thought it was about to go down. It was about to go down. I was kind of in shock because he involved the filming students like without telling them. So I kind of felt like, is you going crazy? Like, what these kids got to do with it? Now they about to get caught up in a whole bunch of mess and they scared. Like he went on like a little crazy tip for 1 second until, I understood him saying, like, you want to film, we'll keep filming. Like, I got that part. But like when you first see it, you see that those young people was like so scared. But when he brought the chief out, I said, yeah, it's about to go down.
Merv, what did you think?
Well, I'm do a little reverse with a little rewind. So I'm piggyback off what Tina said about the kids. So, if y'all like me, I'm pretty sure y'all watch it again. So when Jordan went to the house and talked to him, and Jordan explained to him like what he was doing. It's he plays it in front of the festival, and if it gets enough attention, then sometimes it go worldwide. I don't know if you remember, but he had a look in his face. He had a look on his face. He was like,
So the
worldwide?
whole world may see this.
So when he said worldwide, it triggered something into him. And then that's what led to them kidnapping the kids, which he really didn't kidnap the kids when you go further in the movie. So far as like kidnapping the police chief, I mean, it had to be done for him to make the statement. And they did a classic thing in the beginning when they had the black cop go talk to the black family to try to console the black family and have the black family say, we don't need any more violence. So all that fell right into the script. Like it was a very, everything that they did, everything that was written in the movie complement one another, and it was a very, very well written.
Well, Merv, it's funny you mentioned that because I noticed the exact same thing when when he asked Jordan the question, who all going to see this, he said, my professor, a couple of my classmates might submit it to some festivals. They decide whether it gets killed right then or they decide whether it goes into the world. I saw his face, and then he said, so, everybody might see this. And I think that is the point at which he had his wheels spinning, talking, thinking, you know what? If I don't get the result I want, I'm going to try to change this narrative. And his son, if you notice, if we can go back a little bit, KJ was a good kid, man. He was like any father, wanted what was best for his kid. He took a job as a janitor at a prestigious school in another district just so his son could get a pass into getting into this district. And this kid was very smart. He was I don't know if y'all know, he was kind of like a little militant. He was when he was talking to his homeboy, on the video chat, um, they were actually talking about, defending yourself and interaction with the police. Now the difference is KJ's going to a white school and his friend is going to a black school, and his friend can't understand why KJ is telling him, yeah, you can defend yourself even from the cops. And his friend is like, nah, man, you bugging. So Lincoln walks in while this is going on, and this is when he has the talk. And the good with his son, and the good thing is, it's always good. It ain't even got to be a son. This could be another young brother, because the conversation got kind of heated because KJ was a prideful 14-year-old. Like, he's like, you taught me, how to, stick up for myself. You mean forget all that? And his dad was like, you know what? All that shit I taught you, it goes out of the window. Just so you can come back home to me. And he said one thing that really struck a chord with me. He's like, all that stuff that you're learning, when those laws were made, they didn't have us in mind. And those are things to me that still reign true today. Unfortunately.
So I got a coworker that's watching it right now, and we had a discussion about this the same kind of topic, right? So we was talking about our kids and dealing with the cops. So I had the stance like Lincoln had. Well, I would tell my kids like, yo, if cops pull you over, do everything they fucking tell you to do, so that I can so you can come home, so I can see you again. And she was like, I can't tell my kid that. She was like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't taught him to be. I didn't teach her to be disrespectful or anything like that. But I did tell her to, stand for what you believe in. So she was like, I can't go back and then tell her to be one way, stand what you believe in. And then just because a car pull you over, tell her to change everything. And we probably went back and forth for about 20, 25 minutes with that discussion. And it's crazy that she's watching us right now. I wonder how many other parents feel that way. I'm on the end where I need you to do everything that the cops tell you to do. Like, if I get pulled over, I put down all my windows, the front windows, the back windows, and put all my windows down. I cut on all my fucking lights, especially if it's nighttime. Cut on all my fucking lights, and I start grabbing my driving license and everything before I stop. So by the time I stop, I have all my hands up. So when they come to the damn car, all I gotta do is handle this shit.
Let me ask you.
Huh?
Go ahead, Merv. Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
It's crazy that we got to think. It's crazy that you being black, that you got to take all those extra measures. I had a discussion with a white coworker about 6 years ago, and he was like, "You can't imagine, because when he gets pulled over, he don't think about dying. He's thinking about, yo, fuck, I got a ticket. Can I hurry get the fucking ticket and get the fuck on?" As opposed to when you black, you get pulled over, you gotta make sure every move, you gotta strategize every fucking move that you do, so that you don't give a cop a bullshit reason to kill you right there on the spot. Shit is crazy.
And Merv,
I mean, it depends. You gotta school your kid. You don't even gotta, like, you just gotta move different. Like, don't put your your license, registration, and insurance in the glove box. Like, have it somewhere where you could actually, like on the side of the seat where you could actually grab it before the cops even get out the car. But yeah, like you said, Merv, have your windows down automatically or whatever. A lot of us have tints, but you're going to roll the window down and talk to the cop anyway. Might as well just have it down before they even get there. But have easy access to get those things. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you don't even got to reach or ask the cop, can you reach? Because they going off of, with the cop, you shoot if you feel threatened, if you feel scared for your life. And we don't want the cop to even go through that. So already have that shit in your hand, like, by the time they even get to you.
The reason I'm shaking my head, y'all, because do y'all hear how ridiculous we all sound as far as having to give? I mean, it's very frustrating. And Merv, you said it. You said you got a white coworker that's not worrying about any of that shit when they're getting pulled over by the police. We literally have to have a different set of instructions. We have to instruct our kids. We have to follow certain protocols. You just told me what you do, and I can fucking guarantee you that there's a lot. I mean, that most white people you talk to, they would think that's utterly ridiculous. And I've heard the statement so many times. Well, if you ain't got nothing to hide, you ain't did nothing wrong, you shouldn't be afraid. Yo, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I don't never ride dirty or anything like that. But when I get pulled over, even if I'm speeding, I'm shook. And by the end of that interaction, I go from shook to absolutely enraged. And enraged simply because I be thinking to myself, like, I mean, was this the goal? I mean, was this the goal to just have black people running around here shook and scared every time they get stopped by law enforcement?
Well, you heard in the movie you heard what the white cop said. Officer Oliver, the one that shot Link's son. He said,
Yeah.
I was only doing what I was trained to do. He said that in the movie when he got confronted about him him killing Link's son, mistaking a cell phone for a gun off of something that could hurt him. He said it plain as day. I was only doing what I was trained to do. I don't know if y'all remember what's the white governor name in New York? I think it's a governor. He got a black wife. Is it a governor or a mayor? It's not Quasimo. It's somebody else. But there's a high ranking white politician in New York that actually was taking the side of BLM, and nobody understood why until he said, I had to have a talk with my son because I heard the cops told him that they are trained to handle African Americans, black people, differently than any other race, and they are trained to handle us with a lot more aggression. And reason why that sparked his ear and hit home because he actually got a black wife and he got a black son, but they didn't realize that. So
Merv,
just so many things in this movie that's real life. So when a cop said I was only doing what I was trained to do, that's real life shit.
Merv, Nick Wright, the sports writer that be on FS1, he's an avid LeBron stan. He made a passionate speech this summer about I think he has a black wife as well. He has a mixed son, and his son had got profiled, and he was on the show. He damn near had everybody in the panel crying, bro, because due to the fact that he said as a white man, he can't understand why people aren't outraged, like everybody collectively, regardless of the color of your skin. And I really like, and I'm gonna get to it later with I don't know who wrote it, but what Jordan said when they were coming down with that verdict, that was some real shit, bro.
That's my monologue of the scene of the movie. That's my monologue of the movie. And
Yeah.
like that was a powerful moment when you made Jordan the 12th juror, and then the black lady was like, "Jordan, you got anything to put on it?" I think for us to come up with a conclusion, we need everybody's thoughts. And he said some. He was like, "What make the country great is not to oppress, but to liberate, not to kill, but to heal. And cops and soldiers should protect that with their lives." That was like two or three lines in that monologue that stood out. But the whole monologue made the back of my chin here stand up.
Yeah. And I'm just be open with y'all and whoever's watching, on this broadcast. Yeah, it is Bill de Blasio. It is. Um I struggle with patriotism. Um and I know that's a bit much coming from somebody that was in the military for 20 years and a veteran of two foreign wars. I struggle because now I'm on the other side of the coin. I felt like when I was in the military, like that uniform kind of like shielded me from a whole bunch of stuff. I have a quick little story where I was recruiting right here in Columbia in a little strip mall over in Pontiac, Merv, and I saw this older one day I saw this older white couple and they stopped me. Hey, thank you for your service, and they were happy to see me. I went back to my recruiting center the next night. I had to pick up something from there, but I was in regular clothes. I saw that same white couple, and they saw me, and they didn't say any. I wasn't really looking for them to speak to me, but when they saw me, it was totally different from the interaction we had a day prior. Um, and that was telling. And this happened like 10 years ago, but I still remember it. Uh, and it made me realize that, man, I mean, just taking this uniform off, you know, you're instantly perceived as you go from patriot to guy to serving the country to a threat really, really quick. Same thing happens when you in the military, you get pulled over by law enforcement away from a military installation, of course. Like it's kind of hectic until like we are taught, as service members, and I used to tell all my soldiers this: when you get stopped by law enforcement, you know, when they ask for your information, make sure you give out your military ID as well. That went double for my black soldiers. That's just what it is. I mean that just to me it just puts you in a better situation, and that's why I said I was going to be one of them dudes that don't have all this military stuff on my vehicle. Once I get out, like all the stickers and stuff like that. But I threw it on there. I threw one little sticker on there about me being retired, simply, you know, kind of like to protect myself. I know that might sound crazy, Tina B, but what you think about that? While we get Merv back in it, whatever the hell he went.
I don't know.
You hear me?
Everybody freezing right now. You said all I heard. Last thing I heard you say was Mervin, and that was it.
I don't know what happened to Merv, but I was just talking about my Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, moving right along, so they're in this police station, right?
It's like a 3-second delay.
Is it? Okay. Well, moving right along, they start this trial, and Lincoln is faced with the cop that killed his son. I think his name is Officer Mike Randall, and he's real defiant. Lincoln asked him, do you remember who I am? And when they took over the police station, he told the rest of the cops that he was going to be put on trial. Oh, they wasn't for that, and I found that very telling. And to me, it's simply because and I don't want to generalize, but cops know in most cases they're not going to get indicted. It's just They're not going to get indicted. So they were. Y'all knows how outraged they were when he even said, "Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and put you on. We're gonna put you on trial."
Yeah. You know, what's that cop name? Did they even say his name? The Spanish cop?
That's Oliver Ray.
The Spanish
He
cop,
had
Oliver
a
Ray.
lot.
Reyes.
He had so much mouth. It seemed like he was the one that was the most enraged than anybody else. And he was painting black people as if they were the aggressor. But look how you're acting.
Well,
You
that's how
were
they.
the aggressor. You were the aggressor in every single situation.
Mm-hmm. The thing I love most about the trial and everything that collectively we found out a lot about. Everybody learned something. I'm talking about law enforcement, uh, black people, the Hispanics. Everybody learned something about each other. It's unfortunate. Uh, it's almost as if Officer Mike Randall, the kid who the cop who shot KJ, he got to a breaking point, you know. Uh, and I'm not gonna get to the breaking point yet, but he was absolutely outraged when they had jury selection. And of course, you gonna let this scum, you're gonna let these guys out. He's like, these are nonviolent offenders, and they're gonna be the jury. And I remember Officer Randall was like, well, that's not a fair jury. Ain't none of my pills on there. We ain't got no cops on there. And like I said, oh man, what he said, welcome to my world.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
Man. And the
He was
thing
like, none of
is,
them are my peers, none of them are officers.
and the thing is, man, you should never judge a book by its cover, because those were some sharp, articulate brothers that was on that jury, man. And the back and forth that was going on between the cops and the guys on the jury, it was to me, it was very powerful. You know what I'm saying? Because like the whole slavery thing, I'm pretty sure if you bring up slavery, your average person will say, "Oh, that happened 400, 500 years ago." And the guy said, don't you find it mighty strange that the people that y'all put in chains 400 years ago are still in chains? And I don't know if y'all noticed the cops was doing a lot of generalizing, because Reyes was getting heated, and I don't think he was prejudging or even borderline racist when he said it's because of how y'all act. And he didn't he did that in the collective, like, okay, like, this is how black people act, this is how Hispanic people act. And and somebody mad, and when they talking, he really felt that shit. What you think about that, Merv?
Um. So you got. So it don't happen too much with the with Caucasians, with white people, but you do have, like, for example, there's been a black person that's kind of like made it before, like then they made it out the hood, then they got wealthy, then they got to the point where they became their class, their classism has matched the white people to the point where they actually treat black people worse than white people treat black people. And I've seen cases like that before where they're so afraid of going back to the hood, so afraid of being mistreated again like they was before, that they turn on black people. And I think that's the same thing with the officer, the Latino officer, who was snapping at his same old people, because it was probably hard for him to become a cop. Finally become a cop. He got accepted. They're treating him, at least in his face, like he's equal. And then you got
another guy that's supposedly said, "Yo, you making us look bad. You making it harder for making it hard for us." Almost like that kind of like same side reverse racism kind of thing, and that's what I saw with him going back and forth
a,
and just talking down um, on the Latino prisoner.
a lot of Hispanics don't consider themselves black or minorities. They actually consider themselves white.
You're right. That
I've seen some
And
as well. Yeah,
and until they realize that they're not, that's how they always gonna move.
and Mervin, to your
They
point,
always gonna
um,
think that we're beneath them.
right, Merv, and to your point, we've seen the black guy or the black cop that's because you remember the one prison he's like, so what you're telling me is that a black person could be racist and shoot another a black cop could be racist towards another black person, and shoot him. He's like, yeah, probably shoot him twice. And y'all remember Boys in the Hood? We've seen movie with overzealous black cops that just go out of their damn way to stick it to young black men. We've seen it. We've seen it all the time. I mean, and them just ain't the movies. We
yeah.
got those type. We got those type of cops out there.
So that's what I saw from that scene. That's what that
Man,
reminded me.
the captain didn't even say nothing. His punk ass.
Well, the whole time he was trying to play peacekeeper. The whole fucking time. Like you, this movie almost felt like it was based off a real life true story. I know it came from different true events, but this movie seemed so fucking real that it seemed like there was actually that went down just like this, where the dad took over a police station and had a jury because everything in this movie is going on currently in the last 2 years, especially with the Black Lives Movement matter that's been happening in 2020.
Well, Merv, that's why I didn't hit all of those points simply because we've seen it all before. I didn't go. I mean, that you had the scene where the police chief went to the mom house, and you got the nephew in the background and just going off on the cops and stuff like that. We've seen that, especially over this last decade. We see it. We see it all the time, and we always get the same result. That's why I wanted to get right to where they flip the script. I mean, you can call it wrong all you want, but as far as them flipping the script, doing the trial, but there was an instance where there was a breaking point in the trial where Lincoln was pressing him about that speed, and he said, of course, I don't know how fast y'all was going, but officers can make judgment. One of somebody in the jury was like, but is that the law though? And Lincoln was like, and of course, cop was like, well, I don't remember. He's like, well, I remember because I was there. We was actually slowing down, and uh, Officer Randall got to a breaking point where Lincoln asked him. So it seemed like damn Lincoln was really on like he was feeling like he was a really a damn prosecutor because it was getting tense, and he was like, so you profiled us, and he said, you damn right I did. And he was like, people get pissed off when their cars get broken into, when your house get burglarized. How we supposed to find how we supposed to find the bad people if we're not pulling them over? The way to find these black people, I keep saying black, my bad. The way to find these bad people is by pulling them over. We pull them over and we find stuff. You say if you want to be kids, if you want to be safe, if you want your kids to be safe, that's the cost. And that's when Omar, aka Ghost, said, "Well, not Omar, but one of the guys on the jury was like, well, there you have it." To me, that moment that was my did you order the cold blue moment off of off of what's the name of that movie? A Few Good Men, because he was at that breaking point. Um, what did you think of that scene when he pretty much got broken down, and he pretty much admitted that it was simply racial profiling rather than them speeding?
Um, I didn't think too much of it, and reason why. Like you said, on the points that you skipped, I've 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 been a person that's got pulled over for driving a nice car, during nighttime. So I'm numb to it, and it's crazy that the shit that we become numb to, like, there's no fucking way we should be numb to it. So when I saw that, um, I didn't really have no pain because it almost felt like it was part of the movie. Felt like it was part of the process, part of what happens all the time. Um, Now the breakthrough, the breakthrough that really touched me was near the end of the movie when they came back and found the motherfucker guilty. That breakthrough would really damn had touched me. I was like, um, when when the jury came back, they found him guilty, and then everybody was like, all the cops started damn getting all the uproar and shit, and then they told him to get on his knees. So I'm gonna get on his knees. They put like, it was powerful when there's a lot of little shit in the fucking movie, that little details they added to this movie that was really fucking strong, because you could just been like, get on your knees, and the person that wrote it, I mean, which was Nate Parker, put it together, and you just have him shoot the cop. But for him to call his wife and his son, like, go ahead, call him. And then at this point, he thinks he's gonna die. So this is your last fucking chance to get that goodbye with your wife. And you gotta look at your son and look like his son is maybe about 8 years old.
And he asked him when he coming home.
And
Yep.
he asked him coming home. And then he said, "Yo, I'm not gonna make it." Well, he didn't say that, but he just realized he's not gonna make it. And he's like, "Yo, I love you. Make sure you take care of mommy." And it was a beginning part of the movie that brought this shit together, when he said, "Yo, we're trained to do this. I just want to get home." And then Lincoln was like, "Shit, we want to get home safe too." So when he's talking to his son, talking to his wife, the wife is going hysterical. "You scaring me," and he couldn't take it no more, so he just hangs up.
Mission accomplished, bro.
Then, well, mission was accomplished after he pulled a trigger. There was no bullets in the shit. And that was the real breakthrough, because that's when he said, was when Lincoln said to the cop, "Yo, I've been having that indescribable feeling over the last year and a half, and you just felt it."
Yeah.
But so that's that whole part right there was some strong shit.
Well, and to your point, Merv, and this is I'm gonna go back to when Lincoln was on the phone with his ex-wife, and she was saying, "Hey, you ain't did nothing really wrong yet. You can go ahead and surrender." And he said, "Well, why do I have to surrender? We march, we yell, and we do all this stuff." He said, when white people get something taken from them, or they want justice, they kill. I've seen it done. You know, I've been in the military. I've seen it done." And I think that's what his huh?
And he said they meet force with force.
Yeah, that means force with force, and that's a part of this gun culture that we got going on in this
Hey,
country. That's why. What's up?
and let's really bring this shit all the way home. This is a movie, but when the white people was upset that Trump lost, what the fuck they do? They stormed,
I was
they,
getting there.
they stormed the fucking Capitol.
Yep.
Bet that shit with force. Took what the fuck they wanted, did what they wanted to do. Couple of cops got killed or died from it. Couple suicides. A lady got shot from it. So even though this is a movie, like, he's talking about so much shit that's actually happening right in front of our fucking eyes.
in these United
2021.
States of America. Tina B, what's up? We don't leave you out.
The movie showed different views and angles of how everybody in each race sees something. Even when they were talking about what actually happened in that moment. The main cop in the front, I don't know everybody's names, but he said was, now what happened when the officer, when with the whole insurance thing. Now what he said was, had you not given the wrong insurance paper, maybe your son would be alive today.
Oh, that was hey, I was so pissed.
Yeah.
So
And dude was like, what kind of bullshit rationalization is that? And
but
that goes,
courts and stuff will look at stuff like that.
But you know what?
When something dramatic like that happens, you'll be like, you try to rerun every movie ahead. What could I have done different, or this and the third? So it was a lot of discrepancies where you could be like, right, and it's like, oh, I'm team, pro-black, but then it's like, damn, the cops had a point. It was like that. It's either you biased or you open-minded to hear everybody's angle, because each person had a point. Had you given the right papers, had y'all not been racial profiling, that wouldn't have happened. That's number one. Had you pulled out the right insurance paper from the door, that wouldn't have happened. Number two.
Wow.
Had the cop allowed you to let you reach for the second insurance paper, the correct one, because a lot of people do keep their old paperwork in the car. So it is possible to hand in the wrong one. Had the officer allowed you to give you the correct insurance paper, that wouldn't have happened. The fact that his son was being so stubborn and was not complying, his own father kept saying, put the phone down, put the phone down, put the phone down. He was not listening. That could have avoided the situation. And then the cop clearly sees that it's a cell phone. And now he's talking about stop recording, stop recording, stop recording. Now that was personal. Why he couldn't record? What did the kid do? Exactly. So it's like there was that 5 different things that could have stopped that whole situation from happening.
Yeah.
Well, and it's crazy. It's crazy how you talk about how they show the angles from so many different people and the different races in this movie. Because and that's how it is. If you white, you see it one way. If you black, you see it another way. If you're maybe Spanish or Japanese or Chinese, then you may see it a different way. Like, for example, to piggyback on what you said, when they're in the jury room and they're trying to figure out who's guilty. So the first time it was split, guilty or black. I think like 7 said guilty, 5 said not guilty. And somebody asked the question, how the hell did he get to go home after he just killed somebody? And an older white lady said, well, I mean, he probably had to go home for him to calm down and to get him prepped or whatnot, because it got to be traumatic killing somebody. And then, I don't know if she was foreign or not, but then the other lady was like, isn't it traumatic seeing your son get killed?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's crazy how everything is, you see everything different based on the color you are.
Perspectives, yeah.
And I don't think we're gonna get better until we start seeing the same shit, regardless of the color you are, on a more consistent basis. It's never gonna be 100%. That's why I said just more on a consistent basis. Because how the fuck you worry about the dude that just killed somebody, how he's handling it, or how his mind is taking him? How's that the first thing that you mentioned, as opposed to, damn, I can imagine how hard it is to have a son get killed. You know what I'm saying? So it's
easy because
mind-boggling.
It's easy because somebody's looking at they're looking at different perspectives. So one person is both these two people have empathy. One person is putting themselves in the cop shoes, like, dag, how would I feel if I killed a kid? And the other person is saying, how would I feel if I lost the kid and I watched my kid get shot? That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what they both have empathy, but one got empathy for the cop and one got empathy. It's like that. People not thinking like, oh, well, what about that person may not have had a kid. So it's like, she not thinking that way. I don't have a kid. So she's thinking, what would it be like? I can only imagine what it feel if I shot somebody. She don't have a kid to say, how would I feel if my kid got killed in front of me? Like, it could be that. That's how people's mind, you don't know what somebody's mind frame is going through or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the whole female cop. When she spoke up for female rights and she said, I'm a cop and none of y'all gonna ever take that away from me or say nothing different. But at the same time, I'm a female and I know what we've been through and I'm a Latino female like that. So then you got the other Latino cop that's like, oh, so you against us? So now you got the code for the blue, because you know blue is gang for police. You know police are gang too. So it's like, well, who you going against? Are you with us? Or you're like, who you representing? So you know there's a whole code thing too, and that's where I feel like the chief fell into play at, because he didn't say nothing. He didn't say nothing. I think he was straight up cold for the team blue or whatever, because there's officers that in real life that get abused, fired, tortured, all this other stuff because they went against their own team.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I was just about to say that.
You know what I'm saying?
It puts them and so my dad.
Hold on, and another thing real quick. The part where they have the chief being peaceful, that's an issue. That's an issue for a lot of Black people. It's like y'all said, it's like we always gotta be the peaceful one. We always just like the guy who the female cop came into his apartment talking about she was tired, worked 16-hour shift, and shot him because she walked into the wrong apartment, and his family hugged her. Hugged her in the courtroom. Really? Why we always gotta be the peaceful ones? But as soon as we not peaceful, we animals, we monkeys out here, destroying the community and all this other stuff. Like, hey. Yeah, I felt when that boy. Let me tell you something. That's the only time I would let a kid get disrespectful and allow it. When the nephew was in the house going off like, fuck you, da 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 da, get the fuck out of my house. Like, I
would let him ride out too.
I was get it off your chest. Like,
get it off your chest, young fella.
And I was so mad.
And because it's the same old shit.
I was so mad that the mom really sat there and was like, really, you really going to but that shit is true. What Omari said in the movie was true. Like, they're going to use the mom because the mom's not ready to fight and da 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 da. And then I don't like the fact that she tried to manipulate Link to say, I need you here, you all I got left. Y'all wasn't together before that.
Well, nah, she said, What? Nothing. No, I don't agree with you on that. I think.
She said they could try again. She said they could try again, and we could start over. That man was going to jail for probably life. Start what over, shorty?
Well, at that point, he went to jail for life because it was the very beginning. He went to jail for life. But what she said was, "You the only link."
No, it wasn't. What are you talking about? It was the very beginning.
It was the very beginning.
It wasn't the very beginning when they did that. He was already at the precinct.
Yeah, it was the beginning of the takeover. It was the very beginning of the takeover. So he wouldn't have did life. He wouldn't have did life for that. He wouldn't have did life for that.
He would have did something.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have been no damn life.
It would have been a long time. They wouldn't have start over where? Start over where? Where would they start over at?
But what she said, hold up. What she said was, you're the only link. You're the only link to KJ I have left. So I don't think she was trying to manipulate him to end it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you gotta, seemed like they still had a good cordial relationship.
Yeah, they did.
So if you lose a kid, like there's only one other person that can relate to you, and that's the other parent. So if you lose that parent, you really have nobody to fucking talk to. Nobody can really understand you. Just like when the cop came in and sat down talking about, I can imagine your loss. And she said, "Do you have kids?" He's like, "Yes." Are they still breathing?
Are they breathing?
Yes. Then you can't fucking relate to me. So at that point, I don't think she was trying to manipulate him. I think she was like, if something happened to him, I have nobody else to talk to. I have nobody else to share my pain with. I have nobody else that I can really, really break down with, and they really understand what I'm going through.
True indeed.
All I know is she said we could start over, and maybe if he didn't do life, whatever, he still was gonna get a lot of time. Do you see how many crimes he committed all in that one sitting? He was gonna do some serious time. So start over where?
If he had got up right then, as long as he had a good lawyer, I don't think he would do serious time. I don't think he would do serious time.
Bruh, he was gonna catch the charge, but even he was gonna take the charge for the rest of them too. He wasn't gonna let none of them dudes that worked with him, his family, to go down with him. He was gonna take all 8 charges.
Yeah, that's at the end of it. But we're still talking about the beginning before he put everything in place. Because at that point, he still had a chance where he could get out, negotiate. You could be like momentary insanity and shit like that. Bring Johnny Cochran from the dead. He'd been good.
I really wish that this dude said bring Johnny Cochran from the dead. I really wish that Jordan was the jury was deadlocked 6-6. Jordan ended up bringing him over the top with the conviction, and I really wish that that everybody really that watched this movie really took heed to what Merv mentioned earlier. I'm gonna read it in its entirety because it's worthy. I think that everybody can learn a lot of stuff on both sides from this. Where he said, I mean, I'm not sure we're going to get anywhere if everyone doesn't contribute. And I'll add something here. I grew up middle class. I actually have an uncle who was a cop, and I believe a good man. So I'm a little conflicted. It's hard for me to believe that all cops are bad. Do I think that police have a dangerous job? Of course. Do I think that Officer Randall woke up that morning thinking he's about to kill a kid? No. Can I say without a shadow of a doubt that race was the driving force around KJ being killed? I don't know. I look around this precinct and I see stickers and banners that say back the blue or support the police. Things left over from the backlash of Kajani getting killed. But I have never seen anything acknowledging that a kid lost his life. A citizen who was expected to be a patriot. How can anyone who has this history of pain and poverty and subjugation be expected to be a patriot and a proud American, only to be shot down because of their American skin? And how can anyone patriotic ignore these killings and yet pride themselves on being part of a great nation? Great nations aren't great because they oppress, but because they liberate. Not because they kill, but because they heal. Police and soldiers should be the gatekeepers of that truth and should protect it with their lives. Fuck, man. This fucking sucks. This really sucks. People are dying. Kids are dying. I don't want to hear the story of another black kid killed by the cops. Yeah, I want to know how the cops did the right thing no matter the circumstances. And I don't want to have to see another mother and father just grieving and powerless and pushed to the point where they're willing to give their own lives. So if that means doing the right thing will make this man have to suffer, if it means us having to hold him accountable so that police everywhere would just take a beat before they make this mistake, then so be it. That, Merv, like you said, that shit was the perfect monologue or conclusion to that movie. And if y'all notice, that shit went from 6 to 12 with the quickness right after that. Right after that. And he said a mouthful. I don't know who. I want to research and see who came up with that, because I think that's what it's really all about. Because I used to get mad when people used to say, oh, you know, America ain't never been great, this, that, and the third. Then I had to sit back and think that some people, based on their history and their experiences, they do really feel like that, and I gotta and you can't really take that away from them.
So, so let me ask you this. So it's some shit that people don't understand, unless they go through it, right? So,
Yep.
can we be upset with another race for not being able to understand because they haven't gone through what we're going through? Is it right for us to be upset? I'm asking a deep question now because we're talking about deep movies. So I just want to hear your opinion.
It might not be right.
I'd be upset.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Oh. I don't think I'll be upset. Now, if they trying to tell me about myself or my situation and they never been through it, then I'd have an issue with that.
Okay.
Merv, I've had, you know what, Merv? I this is gonna sound fucked up. You said, can we be? Your question was, can we be mad?
Yeah, can we be mad? And do we really have? Is it okay for us to be mad?
To an extent, and I'm going to tell you why. I've literally had white people that have came to me on Facebook after George Floyd, and they say, you know what, bro? I get it now. Okay. Now, I find it sad that it took a police officer kneeling on a black man's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds in order for that point to be drive home. I agree with Cuzzo. We can absolutely be mad about that. We can't change the way people feel, but all I can think about is how many more instances is it going to take to bring more people across the line to at least empathize. And the thing is, like I tell everybody, I don't want you to sympathize and feel sorry for me. I want you to empathize, that realize, even though that you're not going through it, somebody that you know, somebody that you may fuck with like that you friends with, is going through that.
So there was a because you just said what is it going to take for them to understand what now you say, and I agree. We don't want sympathy. We would just want empathy and understanding.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So man, what's going to take? What's really going to take? Like they're gonna have to go through. They're gonna have to go through it. You know. So like the white cop on here didn't break or didn't have a change of mindset or even try to think about his mindset until he felt like he wasn't going to make it home to see his kid. And he just had a jury where he felt like wasn't his peers. He felt like he was in a situation that's damn near impossible. Like he felt like, yo, this shit can't be fair. You got fucking criminals on the jury. And then when we found guilty, and then like you said, when Lincoln was like, welcome to my world, until he went through that and then almost lost his life off of a jury of peers that he didn't feel like was his peers, that was already biased against him, is when his mindset changed. Just like in the movie A Time to Kill. them motherfuckers was going to convict Carl Lee, the black guy, until his white lawyer told a whole fucking story about a girl getting raped. The father had a reaction, ended up killing the kids, but the girl was mutilated, left
Never
for
have
dead.
kids.
And then his last statement was, now picture that girl being white.
The whole damn courtroom was like,
and the white jurors damn near lost their fucking minds. So until they actually marry somebody black and go through it emotionally, or actually deal with situations that feel unfair or unjust themselves, I don't see it changing unless the younger generation that's coming up, they're a little different. As far as like 30 and up, between 30 and 80, unless they go through some real shit themselves that's unjust, I don't see motherfuckers changing. Just like the white people turning, the Trump supporters turning on Trump because now they're about to go to jail.
yeah, shit got real.
So
the movie kind of reminded me of anybody seen 7 Seconds?
Absolutely. Netflix original. Very good.
Right. And they didn't even renew the season because of how they made police look. That's why they didn't get a second renewal.
Whoa.
Okay, and that's crazy. But that cop didn't mean to do that. But the other cops he was with said, nah, we got to do this. Da, da, da. Put that in his head. It's like it's always like a rookie cop that's getting manipulated by the cops that's been on the force. That's why I said they got their own their own little code. And once you go against them, it's over for you on the force.
Just like on training day. In the head,
yeah.
So you saw when the head bad cop was a black guy.
And when he confessed and said it was racial profiling, you was driving a hoopty in this neighborhood after a certain time, you saw the other cop look at him like,
damn, why you giving up the goods?
Nigga.
Damn, why you giving up the secrets?
Yeah, you giving it up. You don't got that it was a speeding stop in the report. Like all this information is missing. And what he keeps saying is, that's how I was trained. That's how I was trained. That's how, and I believe him. I don't believe he went with any intention to kill that boy. I think it's like it's like being hazed as a cop.
Yeah.
Like this is what you got to do, or you're not a part of the team. And I don't know, what did y'all get from that stare towards the end when the Spanish cop and Link like looked at each other when they was being
you talking about when he was?
Did you get a look of understanding, or did you get a look of like what that stare when they looked at each other?
Are you talking about when he finally let everybody go, and he walked right past him? That's there.
But they did he did stare him down a little bit. Like, but what do you think was that conversation in the eyes?
It was, and I took that as he was like, yo, you have valid points. You made good points. And you almost got me thinking. But fuck that. I ain't admitting shit.
And Merv, I honestly thought he had everybody in there. After he pulled that trigger, I thought he had the room collectively to include the cops. That's just me though. Because whatchamacallit didn't have any cuffs on after he pulled the trigger. I don't know if they showed uncuffing all the cops, but Officer Randall was uncuffed and he told him, for the first time in my life, I'm beginning to question everything. I don't think that was limited to just Officer Randall. I think that he had the room, and we do have to talk about the ending, even though it was extremely fucked up. it was kind of like a
Hold on. Let me ask you a question. Did any of y'all think that nobody was gonna die in this motherfucker? Did y'all really think nobody was gonna die in this motherfucker?
Hey yo, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you like. I'm gonna tell you like this, Merv.
Hold on, I can't. Hold up, Tina, what you said? Oh, she froze.
I thought it, because the movie kind of reminded me of John Q too. It was a little bit of John Q in there.
Yeah, that's what. Yep, it was John Q to me too. Yep.
So you thought everybody was gonna come out? I just thought
he was gonna get like a more serious sentence. Like this is it. Okay. Like once all the charge, I think he was gonna do life because all this stuff happened. That the you let inmates out. Inmate attacked a cop. Like all this transpired in there. You about to get a heavy sentence. You had heavy machinery, all this shit. I am that is ending. Like what? That's what makes the movie good. Even that makes that because you always want to see somebody win at the end. Just like if you watch a football movie, you want your team to win. They were struggling, and then they lose. Like what was that? Coach Carter? They lost the playoff.
Yeah.
They lost the championship.
Yeah. So that's how I was like, really?
Stacks.
Really?
You don't think nobody's gonna die either?
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this. After I had to go back and like think because when it was going out the door, I'm like, damn, this is actually gonna have a decent ending. And when he got his head blown off, I had to think back. I was pissed off when it happened, but I had to think back. Okay, first of all, he's black. He took over a police station. He held police and civilian hostages, and I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. Him dying in the end.
All right, so check it. I knew,
but hold on. Here's why I disagree with the ending, because usually when you do things like that, you want to capture the person. You don't want to kill the person. And I feel like that was personal. And I feel like everybody learned. The message everybody learned in that moment in there, while they was in there, went out the door because that sniper, because that's who it was.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That sniper just popped them after the cop already announced at nobody's armed, this, then the third. You see his hands up on the camera. He made sure he had his hands up on the camera, that the camera caught him at the door with his hands up. If they making a whole announcement that he's unarmed, you took that as your gang personal and popped that nigga anyway.
And
an unarmed man.
Okay, but check it, right? So I always felt like somebody was gonna die. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a big movie buff. Like I love movies. I'm always trying to predict the ending. So I had a feeling he was gonna get killed, but there was two things in there that happened before he got shot that told me this motherfucker about to die. I don't know if y'all saw it, but two things that happened before he got shot that confirmed me, this motherfucker about to get killed. The first one, his homeboy Omar, played by Omari Hardwick, goes. I don't know if y'all heard it, but when they hugged him, what that motherfucker say when they hugged? Y'all remember?
They say it is what it is. I'll see you on the other side.
See you on the other side. He didn't say see you out there. He didn't say see you out there. And y'all know he got cancer. He
was dying.
Cancer. He was already dying. Okay? He didn't say, yo, let's go. I see you out there, blah, blah. He said, see you on the other side. In my opinion, the other side was death. Then the other part was he told that cameraman, hey, you might want to put that camera down. When he told him he might want to put that camera down, because he already know that the guns was on him, and that's why he kind of let everybody go in front of him. So when he told him to put that camera, when he told him, yo, I need you to go, you might want to put that camera down. He already know that. He already know they was gonna shoot him. And that's why he took his
Well, I mean, I thought
that's why he took his that's why he took his vest off. That's why he took his vest off. It was gonna be a headshot.
I thought the whole put the camera down thing was so they wouldn't get shot. Like my son had a cell phone in his hand and they shot him. I don't want you to have something in your hand and you get shot.
Yeah, it was that too. But those things.
But you see how they put the, you know, all that shit was recorded.
Yeah.
Well,
you know, all that shit was recorded. Because remember, even they said even if it stopped filming, it goes out. So that whole shooting was caught on camera.
What's unfortunate? What's unfortunate though, like, you know, after that it was kind of like okay, he flipped the script, changed the narrative, but after he got shot, it was kind of back to reality because the system did what the system is designed to do. They immediately demonized him. They immediately say he had mental health issues. They say he had ties to Islamic terrorists and stuff like that. And that's extremely unfortunate. Now, I will tell you.
But that's real. But that's what the fuck they do. Like this movie.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I know that. But here's why, Merv. Here's why I don't think
pissed me off. That shit pissed me off. I was like, what?
It was politics as usual to me.
This and the third terrorist. What? Like, and then you know what I don't understand? Period. Y'all have everything on footage. Y'all have this video. Y'all have his hands up walking out the door. Even in real life, y'all have the footage right here on camera, and y'all still let these cops get away with shit. Like, what are you looking at?
Hey, yo, but Tina B, name an unarmed black woman or a black man that's got shot unarmed by the police in the last decade that they didn't demonize. They did it to Trayvon. They did it to Mike Brown. They did it to Sandra Bland. They did it to George Floyd. It's 100% across the board. 100% across the board. There's never been an instance. It's almost like there's a team that okay, this unarmed black person got shot. Let's find the dirt so we can put it out there.
So y'all know. I like to bring real life shit. I feel like you bring it home when we talk about a topic and you bring in real life shit. That's why a lot of times I'll talk about past personal experiences because you bring that shit home when you talk about a topic and you bring in real life shit. So to the point, that white lady that got killed going to the Capitol, when she died, y'all know what they put up for her?
Veteran.
Retired Air Force.
Yep.
Years in the Air Force. And
Air Force veteran.
All they talked about was her good points, her accolades when she got killed, actually breaking in to the Capitol. But when a black person dies, no matter what we're doing, we're just sitting in the car. We bring up all, like the dude that got shot with his kids in the back seat that work at the elementary school in the cafeteria.
Orlando Castillo.
Sit in the passenger seat, and they found some old records, some old police records of like weed and stuff. It's crazy how things are so different. And it don't have to be a killing. When we got a white NFL player that choked out his girlfriend, and it was barely being talked about. But there are times when there's been the black players do the same thing, all over the news.
Every 5 minutes. Every five fucking minutes. And my thing is
I just don't understand what. I don't understand what the judges or the courts. I don't get it. Like, you looking dead smack at the video. You see that the cop was wrong. There's no gray area and you still don't charge them. Like the whole shit with Trayvon. You hear the 911 operator saying, do not follow him. Do not follow him. You still follow him. Then you try to attack him. Then they're trying to flip it because he fighting for his life. He fighting you. And you going to say you was attacked. Had you not followed the kid, that shit happened. Like, I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. I don't get. They have their body cams on. You see plain as day that the cop is wrong and they don't get in trouble. I don't get it. I don't get it. Then you got motherfuckers that turn their body cam off. Where's the punishment? Why the fuck are you turning your off?
I got 5 words for you, Tina. Feared for my life. That's like a catch-all, and you good to go. Unfortunately, that's how it is.
Yeah.
And it's so unfortunate.
If you fear for your life and a 911 operator, if you fear for your life and a 911 operator is telling you stop following him, why would you continue to follow him?
Oh, George Zimmer, okay.
You're not in fear for your life.
Well, and that's crazy.
But that was the narrative he used, though. Ain't got away with
it. And what's crazy about that is he wasn't even law enforcement. Like you pursue it. Hey, Merv, you pursuing somebody, and you get over on stand your ground. That would be like me, going down the street and starting something with somebody and start beating them up, and they get the best of me and I shoot them, and I'll say I was standing my ground. Whereas, this fake neighborhood watch George, I don't even like talking about the George Zimmerman stuff because it's just gonna piss me off. So yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
Whereas you got the chick who was being abused by her husband, black lady, Florida. What, got 20 years for shooting a warning shot?
A warning shot.
And then she still got, I think she got pardoned, right? She got pardoned for some shit, or she had to take a lesser sentence or some shit like that. Like, she still got a record, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, she do. She got out, but yeah. Also the lady that got a black lady got 5 years.
Big fact, Sean.
A lady got 5 years because she lied about her address so that her son could go to a better school district. She got 5 years.
Yeah, and you got these famous rich white folks that's getting like 2 months in Club Fed.
Yeah, exactly. So
and
that's one thing. That's one of the things.
It's like Sean said just now in this comment. It's like Link said, when the system was designed, it didn't have us in mind, because when all these laws was written and when the Constitution, all that shit was written, I mean, our people were still in chains. We weren't. None of that shit applied to us. And even though it's supposed to apply to us in 2000 today in modern times, it's still don't in a whole lot of cases. I mean, we see it all the time. You can do your damnedest.
So I'm about to put my plug in real quick. This is why everybody needs to vote, because, like, for example, I don't think people know that the coroner that checks if there's a public killing, the coroner that checks that body and determines how they died, you vote for that person.
Yep.
So I don't think a lot of people know that. Just about everything that deals with like these unjust killings with the police and then the coroner and then the police chief or the deputy and stuff like that, they get their job. The decision makers of all these cases, majority of them get their job off of votes. So one thing that's also gonna help us is we gotta vote these motherfuckers out to try to even up this fucking playing field. Because right now they control and I'm talking about racist people. All right, so this is not a black-white thing. This is versus racist people. Let me say that shit. So the racist people that's in these fucking that's controlling that, you got the racist judges, you got the racist coroners, you got the racist police chiefs, the racist deputies, racist sheriffs. Like, those stuff are voted on. All right, so this is the local votes. So we got to do that to help turn this motherfucker around.
Well, and we also, Merv, and I'm gonna add to that, we also have to be very cognizant of voting laws and regulations, because there's already being that a lot of folks are still upset and still not facing the facts what happened in this last election. There are already states that's actively voting to actively trying to put laws in place to suppress, because it's always about we're not supposed to vote, and that old the election was stolen. That's to me, that's translation for too many black and brown people got out there and exercised their rights. to vote. That being said, there's states that's actively trying to change because these voting laws are by states. There's states out there that's actively trying to change the voting right laws, making it harder for people to vote. You got to have 2 and 3 and 4 IDs and shit. They're trying to get rid of fucking absentee ballot, all kind of crazy shit. So we just got to be cognizant of that because 2022 will be here before you know it. And I say 2022 because a lot of people, and I was one of them people that was guilty of it while I was in the military. I really only just looked out for national elections and shit like that. But these midterms and these local elections are more important to me than a general election.
Because it's day to day. Like this also people you vote on that makes a decision for your kids on how schools operate. Like the school superintendent and the school board, you vote for that as well. So
when I was in high school, we had history class, right? Regular American history class. My teacher was a black football coach afterwards. His history teacher, black football coach, and he brought black history books to school, and he locked that classroom door, and he said that nobody better not say nothing, and he taught us black history.
Dope.
I'll never forget that. So but it's just a shame that I just can't get with it. And I feel like part of me feel like sometimes when I get deep into seeing stuff like this, like are we gonna live to see this? Are we gonna live to win, to see us winning?
A post racial,
or is this never gonna happen?
You talking about post racial United States?
You know what? If we see it, we're gonna have to be blessed and live to about 75, 85 years old.
Merv, to your point, go
ahead.
To your point, and I hate to say this, the boomers got to die off. Baby boomers got to die off. For one, most of Generation X, which I'm at the tail end of Generation X, most of them got to be gone too. So we'll see, like Merv said, we'll see it when we old and gray. Because Gen Z.
I don't think so. I don't think all of them got to die off. And let me tell you why. Because every year we get new voters. All right, the people that's voting right now, they've been voting like motherfuckers that's 40 and over. They've been voting for years. Okay, so we already counting we already know who the fuck they gonna vote for. So, but every year we have millions of people that's turning fucking 18, and every year we get new voters, and the younger generation sees race a lot less, or they see color a lot less than 30 and up. Cause let's be real,
passe. It's passe to them. That's old school to them. That's for Generation Z.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think they have to die off. Now I still feel like we're gonna have to we're gonna have to get be blessed to live to see it. But I don't even think they have to die. I don't even have to think our current generation have to die off, because every year is new voters, and the new voters are less racial, racism, or see prejudice less, because if you look at Black Lives Matter in 2020, and you go back and look at the protests and the marches, you have so many younger white people, Spanish people, like the younger generation. Because you think about it, like we talked about before, if you're 20, 8 years of your life is Barack Obama. So if you're 20, when you was 12, when you really start maybe paying attention to shit, or 8, you got 8 years of Barack Obama. You see a black president, you see a black first lady. So I think it's more. I think the bigger effect is going to be the 14, the 12, the 12 to 25-year-olds that seen Barack Obama. Now they about to see Biden, and you got a black vice president. So the first
woman
4, 8, 12, So 12 out of 16 years of presidency is black. If you're like 25, between like 16 and 25, so in my opinion, that's what's gonna affect it the more. The motherfuckers gonna have to die. They're getting pushed the fuck out because we already know. We already based off of data. If you look at data and stats, we already know who they're voting for.
Merv, I was saying in a sense, the baby boomers. To me, the baby boomers are the last generation that where that racism, hate, and it was really passed down. It gets less and less with every generation, but that's that hardcore demographics that was. Some of them was still living, when before during the segregation era, and that's all I'm saying, because you got these older folks that you got that racist person there. They'll say, well, they're not racist, but you just know they're old and that's just the way they are. Now, fuck that, they're racist. Um, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that crew where they still saw shit where it was like, because we saw a whole lot of racism as far as our age bracket, but we didn't see as nearly as much as these muggers that's in their 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Right.
Bless you.
Right. Thank you. So back to the movie. So let me ask y'all this: the ending. And then he got shot in the head and he got killed. Do y'all wish it was a different ending? Are y'all okay with that ending? Do y'all want me to give my opinion first, or y'all want to go first?
I'll give you my opinion. The fucking ending.
I'll go first.
Huh?
Go ahead, Tim. Tim said she go first.
The ending, I hated it, but it was actually good for TV. It was good for TV. Like it made you have a reaction. It wasn't your typical ending, like yay, or he's only going to jail, or the cops see and they turning their lives around. They're gonna make a change. That's what the typical hope for ending would always be, or whatever. So I mean, it made sense, but it pissed me the fuck off. And I feel like sometimes you want that fairy tale ending. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that realization thing is too much. I get it, but it's just too much. Like, okay, let me give you an example of what I'm trying to say, because I kind of get tongue-tied. It's hard for me to speak sometimes. But remember when you would watch The Cosby Show or even Boomerang, everybody was successful. They showed black people in a successful light. You had a different world. All black people went to college. Mm-hmm. And now the way that they're writing movies is realistic. And they're painting us in our realistic life. We struggling. Tyler Perry shows women being abused all the time in all his movies. And you're like, well, damn, why we got to go through this? Like, that's real. But sometimes you want that imagination back, because that's what motivated us when we were younger. We saw a different world and we was like, yo, I want to go to college. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So it's like, now it's just like, okay, this is what we deal with all the time. We watch these movies. This is what we deal with all the time. Sometimes you want to see that upliftingness be brought to light, and it can be. The mind is very powerful. So what you project on television, that can affect somebody that's watching that show. You know what I'm saying? That could give some, hey, maybe this can happen. Maybe if I do this, that can happen. But y'all making it look like, well, if we do this was going to happen. Straight like that.
Okay.
So that's what bothers me.
I got a quick confession. So the Cosby Show raised me. Like, meaning that's what the fuck I want to be as an adult based off the Cosby Show. I wanted to find Claire Huxtable. I wanted a real nice professional wife that might check me in a real cute way. And I wanted 5 kids. I want to be like, I wanted me and my wife be doing like QC shit and all that shit. The Cosby Show raised me. So like, I have believe in the Cosby Show like a motherfucker believes in Santa Claus. I thought that shit was real. When I found out Claire Huxtable was married to Amar Rashad, you talking about a nigga that was hurt? Motherfucker was hurt. Hey, go ahead, Stacks.
Hey, yo, I'm gonna flip it, man. I'm gonna go past the shooting because that sucked. but let me tell you why. What my part, my ending is the very end, and a lot of people probably look past that because they were pissed after Link got shot. Jordan at the end had those CDs. He still got that American Skin story out there. He put them CDs in an envelope, and he was getting the word out there. So regardless of whatever narrative that the system tried to paint on my man Link, talking about he tied to terrorists and mental health issues and all that shit, he still got that man's message out there posthumously. So I think I looking past the shooting, I think it was a great ending.
And I agree. That ending, it needed to be that ending. It needed to be that ending. And just like when Jordan asked him, like, so you did all of this just for us to see? And he said, no, I did all of this for the world to see.
The world to see, yep.
So a happy ending would have been bullshit. You know what I'm saying? We don't get happy endings. We don't get fucking happy endings. And the more awareness we bring to the motherfucking world about what the fuck black people go through, then the higher the chances of bringing awareness to the world and where we can fuck around and see some change. So he needed to get shot in the head. He needed to get killed with no guns, hands up, where he could look at the motherfucking camera and the camera shows no fucking guns. That needed to fucking happen. All right. And they needed to demonize him doing the TV shows. I mean, doing the news and shit afterwards. Because that's what the fuck happens to us in real fucking life. And the whole world needs to see that shit. You know, Japan, China, Australia, Germany, Canada, Mexico. Everybody needs to see that shit. Because that's when fucking change is going to happen. Because Black Lives Matter, the reason why that shit was so fucking powerful and it's been fucking nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize, because that shit reached other countries.
The biggest, it was the biggest civil rights movement in history, by the way.
Yes, because it went global. The civil rights era stayed national. 2020 Black Lives.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying 100%. It's just sometimes, I mean, it really bothered me, so I'm still upset. I'm still upset, Stacks. I'm still upset. But that's definitely a movie I will rewatch and rewatch. That's a movie I will keep rewatching. But I just wish people would just paint us in a good light. Like, people, it's draining. It's draining. Yeah. The Central Park 5, that shit crushed me.
What?
It was hard to watch.
Oh, I couldn't finish. Oh,
that when shit they fucks with you.
You're talking about when they see us, right?
Yeah, when they see us. Yeah,
haven't watched the whole thing. Couldn't.
Fucked with my mental.
It fucked me too.
Yeah,
that shit fucked.
I didn't finish it.
We don't even know.
Hey, oh my god.
So it's like sometimes we need a breath of fresh air.
And that's a true story.
Yes.
And it
was hard to watch. Just like Roots was hard to watch. Roots was very hard to watch. It's a lot of stuff that
I like watching
Roots. I could watch Roots. I could watch Roots.
When they chopped off Kunta Kinte foot, bruh.
I could watch that.
What I'm saying is it just.
Hey, I got another confession. I watch all racial movies, all slave movies, like, because he also did what was it, Freedom of a Nation?
Birth of a Nation.
Birth of a Nation. Nate Parker also did Birth of a Nation.
He did Red Tails as well.
Like, I watched all of them shits, and the reason why I watch it, I like to watch it because I like to be reminded of the perspective. It keeps me in perspective. It keeps me grounded. Now, I don't want to forget what my grandparents went through. I don't want to forget what my great grandparents went through. I want to know what they went through, I want to see the opportunities now. I want to take advantage of the opportunities that they struggled to give me, and for me to keep having, for me to appreciate the shit that I'm having right now. So that's why I watch other shit. But when they see us, it was hard for me to watch because it was really a true story, and it fucked with kids. I have a soft spot for kids. You know what I'm saying? It probably wouldn't have been as hard if these was grown ass men. When I saw like not between the ages of like 9 and 16, and in 1989, I was 9 years old. So when I saw that shit, I was looking like, yo, that could have been fucking me. I was only 2 years apart from them. So that fucked me, the fact that it was kids.
Let me tell you something. There's a lot of people that don't like watching Tyler Perry movies anymore, especially women, because it's a constant reminder of the abuse that they have actually gone through, and people don't want to see that anymore. It sometimes, like I said, certain things can really affect you, to constantly be reminded of the abuse you went through over and over and over. Like, as a Black writer, or Black screenplayers, it's like they have this platform to change the game, but instead of doing that, they just keep constantly reminding you of the struggle over and over and over and over, and it becomes draining.
I think, you know what, I think I see it as, I just see it as a different angle, because sometimes, like, I feel like we we've gotten too comfortable. You know what I mean? Sometimes we get too comfortable, and we forget. So sometimes I feel like we should be reminded, but there's a balance to everything. You know what I'm saying? So I do agree with that, and there be a balance of good stories, a balance of fucked up stories, and a balance of of reminders. You know what I'm saying? Like it bothers me when I hear a Black person don't vote. Like listen, it makes my blood boil when I hear a Black person don't vote, and then I immediately think about our grandparents, our great grandparents that
got
had
their ass whooped doing the vote.
holes on them, that got killed, that was put in jail to try to stop them from voting. So like when I hear that, I'm like, yo, do you not remember our history, what we've gone through? Like, so even if you don't vote who I want you to vote for, as long as you exercise your right to vote that our grandparents died for. So that's why in some cases it's a balance where we have so many people that become complacent when they're comfortable and forget what our ancestors have gone through. I think those movies are sometimes needed. But you are right. They went too extreme. Where that's sometimes you can be too extreme. You need a balance. Just like there's no Cosby Show movies out. There's no Cosby shows out. There's no Different World shows out. All the damn TV shows out now is really putting Black people in a negative light. Well, a majority of them puts Black people in negative light. So it's a balance, and we have gotten away from that balance, in my opinion.
Well, I much like Merv. I like watching all those movies. It's simply because perspective, and it gives me a reminder of how far we have come, even though we have a long ways to go. One of the movies that I really like is Glory. Simply because I'm retired military, and they had parts in that movie where they didn't want to, and this goes back to the Civil War and all that stuff as well. When they had Black soldiers out there, you couldn't be in charge of nothing, you couldn't be an officer, and in some cases you weren't even allowed to carry a weapon. And for me, for somebody that had been in the military for 20 years, who's commanded troops and things of that nature, regardless of their race, creed, color, of or religion, I look at movies like that and I'd be like, man, we've really come, even though we still have a long way to go. We have absolutely we've absolutely made a whole lot of progress. And even though since Reconstruction, all forms of huge Black progress have been met with, you know, um, massive white supremacy backlash, we still continue to overcome. I mean, it ain't never going to be over. It's not going to be over in our lifetime, probably in our kids' lifetime. But the most important thing is just to continue to live righteous and just continue to change the narrative. No pun intended.
Yeah.
And y'all. I think that's about it, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, good show, y'all. I'm glad we got to talk about this movie. I want to give shout out to our viewers out there. Y'all never know how much we appreciate y'all for rocking with us, even if it's just one or two of y'all. We really appreciate y'all, listening to us. Shout out to YouTube. Shout out to Mile High, One Mile High Radio. Shout out to Blackjack TV channel 199. Big ups to y'all. Y'all continue to fuck with us. Shout out to the guys podcast. We'll be right back at y'all on tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Get our four horsemen on. Shout out to my cousin Rebecca and like I said, all the rest of the viewers out there. Go ahead, Merv.
Hold up. So I got, and I'm pretty sure Tina might. Well, Tina Burke gonna have some comments. I'm pretty sure Rebecca's gonna have some comments. I'm pretty sure a lot of ladies gonna have some comments. But the topic tomorrow, we got a two-part series start tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Wait, I was gonna ask. Y'all know every Tuesday I say, "What's the topic for tomorrow?"
It's a good one. It's another banger.
It's a two-part series. All right, the one tomorrow is called The Beginning. The one next Wednesday is called The Ending. All right, so tomorrow we're going to talk about how long from the first date. How long do you date before you make it official? That's tomorrow. That's tomorrow. I ain't gonna tell. I ain't gonna let you know what the next one is. Just know the next one. The title is The Ending, and we'll tell you what the subtitle is next week. But tomorrow we're gonna talk about how long should you date before you make it an official relationship. So just let y'all know that.
All right.
That's smart, y'all. So we right back at it on tomorrow. And we, like I said, we appreciate y'all. I'm not forgetting nothing, am I, Merv?
No, I think you did the Twitter, Blackjack TV channel 199, YouTube.
Oh yeah, follow us on Twitter too. We on Twitter. Yeah, we out there on Twitter. All guys, yeah, the guys, everything. Got the guy. The handle for Twitter is at the guys podcast 2 on Twitter, and of course, we got the Facebook page. Please like and share our Facebook page. We're on YouTube as well. We all over the place, man, and it's only get bigger and better. And that's about it, y'all. I salute y'all, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.